Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program. As soon as we start this program, you can subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending. And most important, you can introduce your own topic. We encourage people to be tolerant to one another. You could always take issue with what people's view, people's opinion, what they say, the facts, the truth, but not with the person. We have to grow a culture of tolerance in Grenada, where we give people an opportunity to speak. We mustn't be angry if what people say, we don't agree with it. We don't have to agree with one another, but we must respect each other's right to express themselves. And this forum provides an opportunity for you to do that. We have 1 hour, so we encourage you to punch. Make the most important point. Some people like to ask me questions, and I always express my views and opinion. But sometimes you ask me the question, and it might take a while to answer, and you constantly interrupt, so nothing wrong, But be mindful of that. And let's be tolerant. Let us be respectful. We don't have to cry down one another. Politicians get a lot of licks. I hold them in high esteem throughout the Caribbean. Some of them have given up a lot, and they have fought for the country. Some of them have not been very successful. The battle. But you have some politician that has been very good. Show the Caribbean, Eric Williams' name will ring. Forbes Bonham, the man with boards in Antigua. And in Cuba you find Castro, a different type of system. It's not the democratic system. In Grenada you have the 3 most impactful politicians: Eric Gary, Maurice Bishop, and Keith Mitchell. The 3 most impactful. And people love them. Some people don't like them. Some people hate them. But they have done a lot for the country. All the politicians in Grenada have contributed significantly and make a lot of sacrifice. But some are more successful than the others. I consider Eric Gary and Keith Mitchell as the 2 most successful politicians. And when you go back to history and you look at the historicity of it, you would recognize that these people achieved the most and been most successful at the polls than anybody else. George Rizan wrote about the island of conflict. And in fact, Grenada perhaps have had more devastating or significant political upheavals than other countries. But you have to Eric Gary period and Keith Mitchell long period, winning election, all the seats. It's not the first time in the Caribbean. In St. Vincent, you have been in Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados on 2 occasions. But in Grenada, Keith Mitchell has done it on 3 occasions. And he has really beat up the National Democratic Congress. In fact, the Congress perhaps have the worst track record in the Commonwealth for getting beat up. But they have defined the odds and they have survived, and it's a party that you have to admire because most people would have given up on them. Sometimes you believe the Congress give up on themselves eventually. And won the election, and shock the NNP with a victory. Although they shocked themselves too. They didn't expect to win. And one hope that it will be thank God for it and thank the people and be more gentle. I don't agree with the Congress attitude towards restorative justice. It's not necessary. You're going to hear me speaking a lot more about restorative justice. I think it's a sad day in Grenada when the Congress adopt this. Restorative justice practicality on the ground is political vengeance. And it is not good. Grenada is a small country. And you could break up the very fabric of society if these things take root. You could see the impact in the schools. I always was baffled when our unions came up with work to rule and decided that they're going to abandon the children and they're going to go to the classroom and don't speak to children. And they wouldn't speak in parent-teachers meeting. And they was planning to move to the school on lunchtime. These are serious, fundamental cancer in our society. You could always find one person doing some strange things. But when a group of people plan to do these things, we need to pay heed to it in our country. And we have to be careful with our school. If we don't get it right in the schoolhouse, we will not be able to progress. We have too much people living in the schoolhouse, and they do not have the academic qualification, the skills, and the attitude to be competitive in the job market. And all of us are guilty. It don't make sense we blaming one person. All of us in Grenada are guilty. And we're supposed to do everything in our power to change that. More than for the children living in school must be extremely competitive on the job market. In yesteryear, when culture was the main source of employment, all you had to have was skill. You had to be strong and have skills. Then women used to tie the knee when they bring in cocoa, 75 pounds of cocoa on their head in a basket. They had a cutlass. They were strong women, but they died. By the time 45, men was old men. A 60-year-old man was an old man ready to die. All the teeth fall out in the mouth. He weak. Men used to go and fuck in the hot sun. No clothes on them. No shirt. No, they take out the shirt and the sun on the bare back. And that helped to age them. Women had 14, 15 children. And by the time a man 60, 57 years, he was an old man. Now, modern medicine and modern education and more laziness contributing to we living longer. But the jobs that are available now is not manual strength you have to have. You have to be thinking, you have to have brain, you have to have skills, you have to have education. We can't ignore the statistics in the country. You cannot be an educated person and ignore statistics. 60% of people looking for a job in the Caribbean don't have the academic qualification and the skills and the talents. So parents, that must be your concern. You are the one having children. Most of the women having children in school today had the opportunity to go to a secondary school. You can't plead the fifth. You can't say you don't know. You know. You have access to a telephone. And your telephone is like a university. It's like a library. It's a source of information. But it doesn't seem that you have the hunger to make your children succeed in school. And you have to pay effort at that. We have to zero in on that. Ask yourself, what is it my child must study in school to be competitive? Sometimes I hear people say children have to make up their mind. That is a bag of baloney. That's why they are child. You, the parents, practically have to dictate what the child do in school. Just as when you have a baby, you don't ask the baby what type of milk you want. You give the baby milk. You give the baby water. You wipe the baby bum bum and put diaper on it. You don't ask the baby if they must change the diaper. It's quite true that children are good negotiators. They cry. And tears is a means of negotiating. They want to break. But in the same way you provide for the child as a baby, and you give the child supervision, less supervision, but you have to be on control of things. Yesterday we beat. They say don't spare the rod and spoil the child. Some people like that. They beat you mercilessly. 20 and 30 strokes was customary in the school, particularly when they meet fellas with big nose, thick lip, and kinky hair. They say, let's stand the hide. They change the skin, the nomenclature of your back. So it wasn't skin again, it was hide. And you get lashed. But you don't have to do all this beating now. It's not necessary. You could speak to children and you could deny them. Instead of buying a hush puppy, buy a punk or sulfur. The yard have to be clean. If you have to pay to clean the yard, then don't give them money. Encourage them to clean it. And encourage your children that when they go to school, they must do mathematics. They must do chemistry, biology, and physics. And they must learn. Computer science is a must. It's necessary. And it's a must. So when you children go to school, you have to encourage them to study mathematics, do chemistry and physics. Make sure you do French and Spanish. You have some subject, they could do it if they want. Nothing wrong in a child getting 25 subjects, like bragging rights. But you have to make certain that your child gets mathematics. Your child gets biology, physics, and chemistry. Let your child do French and Spanish, English language, and computer science. One punch.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
How you doing?
Great, man.
I will go back to the election, like the June 23rd.
Yeah.
Now, me and a friend, me and a two brethren, because I mean, like, me is real good friend, and he is what he is. I am what I am. He's a culture man. But to tell you the truth, boy, I should say that we go give value 15 again, 15 again, But when he see water and flower, he say no, boy. He even say that. He even tell me that. He said if the election go up to August, September coming on the former Prime Minister who is the opposition speech, the man was reasoning, and he's a big, strong NNP. He told me that because the party getting weak, the NNP getting weak, because check 2003, 8-7, 2008, 11-4, and the next whatever, 15. So one government politician cannot work and build a country, which is going to, because it must have one in, one out. You know what I mean? One in, one out, because the former Prime Minister party is out and the NDC is inside. So I see what they're doing, and in my own opinion, where I travel and I pass, is a lot of investment, is a lot of works is taking place. Mr. Pierre, you cannot send somebody in your land and work. You must go and see what the worker do. You cannot pay the worker 50 or 60 or 40 dollars, and that he will come to your house and say, okay, well, Mr. Pierre, you have to go to see the work. So we have to circle around this country, and I seen the work, what this, which is the NDC, and it's up to them. And I say big up to all Mr. Dickens, team, I mean everybody, I mean big up to all the work what they are doing. We cannot sit on one place and say, okay, they're not working. We have to put ourselves to see the work. Because NNP, like nobody, they used to, I mean, travel here and travel there. Yeah? But now, with my own eyes, I see this government is trying and they're doing their best, going to 9 or 10 months now, and they are doing the best. And again, me and a former MP, NNP was reasoning. It was like clean up of the lands, not below this government now, with the NNP. She said, Culture man, the NNP do good. The former MP asked them for a couple of days in Chilan. They never give her. But I told her if she wasn't going to tell me that. Have a good day, Mr. Pierre.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Cultureman. So we have to sit down and understand that how the world is today, our children is the future of this country. Don't let nobody trick us. Don't let people tell you children can learn. That is not true. Don't let people tell you your children is not academically inclined. That is not true. You, the parent, and I always put the emphasis on women. Why women? Remember the women of Jerusalem. Mourn for yourself and your children. You didn't tell man that. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, you giving culture man and then that NDC people and them too much privilege on you and too much time. It's a 1 hour thing you have there. You can sit in and listen them with that rubbish and them. Okay, goodbye.
All right, thank you. So Christ said, women of Jerusalem, mourn for yourself and your children. In the same way, if Christ was here today, he might have said, women of Grenada, mourn for your children and yourself. 60% of our household are led by women. The other 40% that are led by man, maybe about 30% and them women in control. So you have to take the bull by the hand and make certain that your children do well in school. Your child spend about 13 and a half years in school because they go to school at 2.5, 3. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I would like Cultureman to tell us what new plan or project the NDC initiated that they are doing presently. Because from my knowledge, all that they are doing is just to complete what NNP had started. So if he could, just one project that they have started, anything new that they have started in any parish. Thank you.
Yes. So it's very important that our women understand that. It doesn't matter whether you was in university or whether you is a dropout in Form 1. It don't matter if you get pregnant in school. You have your child and you have to fix the pitch. You can tamper with the ball, but you must fix the pitch. You must make certain your child. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Answer the question for.
You have to raise up your voice a little.
I could answer the question for Countryman, man.
Yeah.
They implement that. To over 1,500 people go home, so at least they implement something. Send them project. But you know if reconciliation took yesterday in Delma constituency, I didn't get no report on that.
Well, I believe that they had a meeting yesterday, and I think the meeting was, I listened to Mr. Bowler this morning on the radio, and the meeting principally concentrated on the NNP plan, development, etc. And I don't think much mention was made about a parliamentary representative in the area, and she did not attend the meeting. She did not attend the meeting, and I don't think they mentioned her much at all in the meeting. So it appears that there was no serious reconciliation between the position and the Prime Minister. Her beef seems to be with the Prime Minister.
But that is in her constituency, so at least she should be present, you know.
Well, Mr. Bola said they invited her, but she didn't say why she didn't come. So maybe she may inform them why.
That are looking good. That are looking good.
Yeah, but
the bridge man always say you can't batter into wicked at the same time.
Yes, Mr. Bridgman always said that.
You're criticizing for that when saying that, but the man not you're saying it.
Yeah, but in the politics, you always have to be
play for
careful.
one to play, but you can be bad now on both sides. And he say that
you can be wood tree politics. You won't get hurt. Yeah.
So take care of there.
Yeah. Right. But in the politics, we have to be tolerant. And politics is a very stressful thing. There are stressful points and there are breaking points. And sometimes the NNP party have to be prepared. There's a party that always try to be inclusive. Mr. said that, said one of the challenge of NDC is they're not inclusive. The NNP has always been inclusive, and they have to still continue with an environment of accommodation and show love to the minister at this point in time. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, ma'am, welcome.
Right, yes. Your program is just 1 hour long. And we, the listeners, we would like to hear about the issues affecting Grenada. You cannot afford to allow Cultureman to come on the program and spew such, can I say, stupidness to our listeners. Cultureman never has anything value to speak about. It's time you let Cultureman feel the real weight of your hammer. You got to hammer him now. He's out of order. Come on. It's an educational program. And he has nothing important to speak about. There are people who are willing to call and make a valuable contribution. If you notice, you can call your program, it's the same thing he's speaking about over and over again. He cannot say that what you're saying is not true. So why entertain him? Mr. Pierre, it's time you put on your foot on Cultureman. He's just wasting the 1 hour you have, talking nonsense.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
During the revolution, a group of people in agriculture wanted to revive the Goat Society. We had a society called the Goat Society before. They planned a meeting. Something turned up, a number of other people couldn't go. But the group had their meeting the Thursday, and by Friday morning, they was in jail. The revolutionaries heard that a meeting took place and went in night and arrested these people and brought them in jail. One of the persons that was arrested, his own son arrested him. By the time people heard that Monday morning, the Ministry of Agriculture was in a state of paralysis. And after explanation and intervention that these people was reviving the Goat Society, I have never heard about Goat Society in Grenada again after that. Never heard. Tolerance is a very important thing in our country. We have to be prepared to be tolerant to one another. They say even the dull and the ignorant, they too have this story. We have to be tolerant to one another. Yeah? Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. Yeah, we have to be tolerant to one another. I know sometimes people listen to people, but please, let us be tolerant. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Go right ahead, caller.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Mr.
my brother.
Why people want to block other people from calling, from speaking, but they want to speak and attack it? That is censorship.
Caller, say what you want to say.
To censor the man, that is censorship. That is poster censorship. No, Mr. Pierre.
Go ahead, caller.
I've been listening to the caller tell you that they do any NDC and do nothing.
Tell us something, caller. Tell us something that they're doing.
The biggest thing in Grenada today is the money for the people and them are paid in this country. Pay and grade system in this country. That's what they're working on. NFP had 9 years to fix it, and they don't do nothing in this country to fix it. For 9 years now, there are people working for the same amount of money. They do nothing to fix it. And you're talking about
And that's
It's
the
not
biggest thing in this country today.
color is not pay color is not pay and grade. It's minimum wage. Pay and grade is
minimum wage are the
color.
same thing.
Color is not the same thing. Pay and grade is a
Minimum wage,
different.
pay and grade, all of them,
All right.
right?
Okay. All right. Thank you, color. You see, we could get this thing right. You know. We have to look tolerant to one another and make our points rather than going after somebody else. So we want to encourage the women of our country. And I believe that's where it have to be. Our women have to prepare to put more emphasis to make your children do right in school. You could ask around the question, what do I have to do? Don't be afraid that if your neighbor children is doing well, to find out. Your children have to come to school having good grade in mathematics, chemistry, physics, biology, English language, and computer science. It is important that your child is bilingual. Yes, Scholar, welcome.
Good morning.
Yes, Scholar.
Good morning, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, good.
How are you?
Great, man.
All right. I was just sitting here and reading a piece. The industry, I saw it. Yes, we have spoken about it. Should have spoken about it this morning, but I didn't. It was regarding the seed program. There was an increase of about maybe 200 or so persons added to the seed program. And I'm here sitting and thinking that this is one of the handouts that the National Democratic Congress would have been speaking about, the seed program, the handouts, and that they should have, that the previous government should have actually taught people how to fish and don't have persons dependent on the government or on the seed program. But here you are adding more to the seed program, which means you would have found more persons who needs to be dependent or would need more handouts. And I think that I'm not sure if they decided to. I think they said they were going to cut back on, take out, purge the list. No, it seems as if the list was not. I'm not sure if they did purge the list or if in purging the list they found more persons that should be on the seed program, or if it's their friends, or so they put on the program.
300 and something, yeah.
Yes. So these are all. I find is, to me, is hypocrisy, because if you had programs in place for persons, if you would have put programs in place like, and for, you know, because you said that more persons should be self-employed and all these things. You know, if you would have been doing these things, then I think, or as the things those things you were saying, then more persons should not have been added. Instead, you added, been given some, and you should have some them on whatever. And so I guess maybe the 150 was taken out so that you can add more, or the 150 was taken out because, you know. And then here's an elderly lady asking me a question one day in this week or last week, that if they're getting the 150 every fortnight, because the government is paying fortnight, and that doesn't make any sense. And the elderly lady is right, because 150 makes no sense at all, rather than, you know, you're getting this $300 at the end of the month, and you probably would see your way better. So, all in all, I'm saying that it's either it's sheer hypocrisy that you decide to add more people instead, you know, and or you would have found that, you know, more persons definitely you would have agreed with Dr. Mitchell when he said that you need to assist people because they need it. So, or is that the fact? Is it that more persons are unemployed, so you have to add them to the list? So it's crazy to me that persons out there are speaking about things that are being done in this country, and you can't speak about the pension being paid because it's a burden on the state. You can't speak about paying teachers that didn't work and the court ruled against it. You can't speak to the fact that projects are being completed and it was under the new National Party it started. So, and then I can see the fact that you have not added more persons to the money program. You can speak to the fact that, roads. You have persons who complain on a daily that their shocks break, or their van is they're having difficulty with their cars because the infrastructure of this country is dilapidating.
But Caller, just to go back on the seed program, the attack by the opposition and others on the seed program, I think was demeaning, it was insulting, it was degrading, and it was wrong. Because people in the lower economic strata, every government have a responsibility to provide for them.
Of course.
And the dismissive way in which we treat people was really, really unfair.
Of course.
So I believe people must speak about that.
Yes,
because these things must not happening again.
That we speak about the Thomas issue.
This is minor.
Yes, one issue. I'm one of the speakers on a program the other day.
And politicians could be pressure. Just they are human being, and you know.
So these things
that's going to iron out itself.
But there are issues right now confronting Grenada where we need to address it, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing
in place
for the youths, for the elderly, for the women who need a job, and for the men who need a job.
Right.
There is nothing.
All right, thank you, caller.
Absolutely nothing.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon,
Go
Mr.
right, caller. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Pierre, I tend to listen to a lot of people when they're talking, and I wouldn't address everybody. But last night there was a meeting, a constituency meeting that the NNP had for the constituents, and they seem to be going around the country and all constituencies. Is that a problem?
Well, that's how that could be a problem. It shouldn't be.
Good. Right. So the last couple of, I think was last month or day about the government, I think it's the government that they say having some town hall meeting, and they boss people from all over the place. Nobody have a problem. Nobody go on the radio and say, well, we go send people to spy and take a pictures. Do you know, lo and behold, I will say, I've been hearing people saying on the radio that chairs has been throwing and hands has been fighting and people have been fighting.
Caller, that is not true. Yeah. I was outside there. That meeting took place in Pierre. It was not true.
Right. So you know that same set of individuals say you have some recording and other principles in not it. That's the kind of nastiness that the NEC supporters like to listen and they won't take a person to task. And I get angry about it. When culture man need to get information, call a person, ask a person why you didn't play the tape. Instead of calling your program and talking that nonsense.
Yeah, but you see,
you understand?
Yeah.
These are the kind of nonsense that
but caller,
because
the
truth.
I was in Paraclete. Paraclete is my community. I was in the school, not inside, but I was in the school, and it was a nice, beautiful, good knit meeting, right. And I remained in one of the rum shop there till about 12 o'clock last night. So there was no incident.
Secondly,
there was no incident.
So secondly, you know, this tax amnesty thing you're talking about, you know, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's over 600 they have to forego, not so? In taxes.
Yeah.
Not so? Right. So you're saying that with the NNP over the 5 years prior to this year, with 17 million. So if NNP do, we can do it. But NNP did 17 million. Why don't people read and understand tax?
In 1990, the first thing the NDC do was give a tax break too. 1998. So they have a habit every time they come in power to give tax break.
But
at the expense of the...
At the expense of the poor people, right? So now they add 300 and something to the sea people, so that's something good, right? pension was being paid already. All they come and do is just pay some retroactive and put some people on the list, just like how they do in the seal. So I don't understand what is the accomplishment of this NDC. No, you hear the minister of MIT saying, well, we get some street light and we have cameras in it. Like Jesus Christ, this thing was discussed already. Mr. Pierre, I don't know what to say again.
Some people even objected to spending all the money on street light.
My God, man, have a good afternoon, man.
Yeah. Yes, particularly when sides are jostling for position. But it's the practicality on the ground. Sometimes we spend so much time with these semantics and other, but the impact on the ground, and the impact on the ground is over 1,500 people lost their job. That the workers in Maribor Agriculture Station. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good evening.
Yes, welcome, my sister.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, I want to support you. I was in Paraclete outside like you,
Yeah.
and it was a very, very good meeting. And all the locals coming in from the supporters from the St. Andrews Northwest, coming and have a good meeting, political leader, and the leadership of the party. Good way to go and to keep on meeting. And whenever the next meeting call, I ask people, to continue going to the rejuvenation, and the people are ready to go, and they
were in very good spirit.
Yeah, very
good spirit.
Very much impressed. Yeah.
I saw some Paraclete face around that I didn't see in a long time.
Yes. Yeah. Big hug and kiss.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Pierre, I want to agree with you. Two prime minister that really cared, and with the team, the government, to walk in the interest of the income bracket people is so Eric Matter and the Right Honorable Dr. Kit Mitchell. And no bones and no apologies for that. And when you will look at, comparing the NMP or the GLP with the NDC, we know what, because there are those of us in Grenada who have that experience. And since the June 23rd, the NDC comes in office. Many of them say that it's a new NDC and what. But when you look at the policies, the fiscal policies, and you see what's taking place, as you're so correct, the firing of all these women and people, and the cut in the seed program with the 150, that day was like I don't know, many people, senior people who walk, to build this country, fell down on the ground, got down flat on the ground crying. All know people crying about that, the tears falling.
But caller, one of the things that puzzles me is what is the political impact for it?
Exactly.
I can't see the justification, but that seems to be a chronic part of the philosophy. Because in 2008, and in 1990, the fire was set,
yes,
including Shotty. I always call his name because I remember him, and he used to sit on same school desk.
Yes.
And we were good friends, and he was very active in the trade union.
Yes.
So I cannot understand what is the justification? What is the reason? Your political party that picks and is so hostile to the people in the low income group.
Yes. and still bullying and still telling them handouts and still not creating opportunities and no jobs. So what is? So the NNP is organizing. It's a united party, yes, and our leader, our political leader, is very tolerant. We know him.
All of us need to be tolerant, caller.
With all of us,
Thank you.
Regardless of what it is, we saw him last night, and we heard him last night, and we've been hearing him, and he's a powerful leader, and we give him all the support. Many of us are battle testers, and we're supporting and building our party and move on because,
Thank you.
Mr. Pierre, we have to rescue our low-income bracket people and the NNPs, the old.
Thank you. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. We lost that caller. All right, just call again because yes, caller, welcome.
Well, Mr.
Yes,
Pierre,
welcome. Yeah.
you see, with the NDC, the want is more than, but with NNP, the need was more than the want. But now, NDC start to realize that. You understand? The few people, maybe it was on the program, didn't deserve it. But that's not the way you look at it. Abroad, they have welfare. And you know the reason why the government don't get rid of welfare? Because the need is more than the want. There's a lot of people who's on welfare should not have been on welfare, you know. Need is more than the want. And I hope NDC realize that now. There are more people need the program when they're not working than those who just want it. I think the Prime Minister and them start to realize that now. You understand? I don't think they're playing any game. They realize that now when they see the cry of all the people, you know? But the shamefulness in them, they will never give back the 150. What they're waiting for? Coming to the end of the year when they're doing some maybe $200 instead of 150 to make it look good and say, well, you see what we do now? This is what they're going to do. Because they know the people need the money right now. And they add more people to the program and they say the program was not good. How could you do that? I mean, who talking to these guys and them? You condemn it. You say it's wrong. You know what I mean? People are suffering. You say they should have got over 650. Then you take out 150. And then now you add another 300. So what you doing? You can't spin and top in mud. And then talk to the people. Come out. Go to the villages. When you want their vote, you go and talk to them. Not in a little corner where you call your members and try to discuss something and all you laugh and put it on social media. Come on, do better than that, man. This is everybody. This is their country. It's not only yours. And when you're in parliament, don't give attitude. Mr. Pierre is giving attitude. You know, they're coming on. You know where they're talking. Come on, man. This is our country, man. We all want you guys to do good. It'll benefit the country. Come on, my friend, man.
Yeah.
Do better than that.
Yes. There are some issues that you want the government to get right. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, afternoon, Mr.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I was listening the law house debate, right? And the opposition leader was saying that, like, what the government want to do to pass the bill in both houses, and after they pass the bill, they want to have consultation. So if after the bill, government general side, and is it not that the bill come into law?
If after you, I didn't hear that last.
Okay, like both houses pass the bill, right? And it go to the government general and she sign it. Isn't it that bill
yes, it comes into law.
Right? So I agree with the opposition leader because if you want to have consultation, you have consultation before.
Caller, consultation could be after the fact. So when you have consultation, you could have consultation to make people know what you do. That is not genuine. Yes. If you want to have genuine consultation and you want the input of the people, you're going to give them a chance.
When you check with marketing board, and we check again with the other boards.
Marketing board, and all of that is a sham.
Different members on board. All of that is sham.
It's a sham. They want to rubber stamp.
Exactly.
That is in the same way They took money for themselves and then offering for the opposition to rubber stamp them. It's a sham.
They want to keep the opposition
It's
quiet.
immoral. It's wrong.
They want to say the opposition get money, so they won't tax.
Yes.
But I agree.
It's bribery.
Yeah, I agree.
In the same way they give the teachers the money, they give them for the teachers not to buy.
I agree with them. Because we cannot forget the people. I take money. Because I always say, Mr. Pierre, if for the fight for the cars and for the betterment of the poor people, you have to go down in the drain with them.
You have to do it and be genuine.
And
take them in confidence.
Exactly.
What the National Democratic Congress doing is a sham. Mm-hmm. And they're shying away from the press.
And that's all what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre. They had 300, they reduced it to 150, and now we are seeing that they add more people to it. So that means the money is there, which they have allocated. But the question now we have to ask, who are the people who they have added to this? Yeah? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if the excuse was the money was not there, this confirms the money is there. Because that is the only thing we could add more. Sorry?
I don't think the government have a problem with money yet.
Yeah, but still, what is the reason for reducing from 3 to 150?
Yeah, I think the government say these people is handout people. And the government have a history. The NDC have a history of being hostile to the elderly.
Yeah, but this kind of statement, this kind of the movements they're making, it speaks in volume because you're saying something and then you're doing something different. Yeah. You have to know how you're balancing off. You have to know you're balancing up because I cannot see where this is coming from. If you added, first of all, it was condemned, then you reduce, and then you add. So what you up to?
Yeah, I don't.
It's a three-way situation here. I would like to let them get to the point, because in one time you were saying people are supposed to get 650. So are we going to see, as one of the previous callers said, maybe by the time next budget come, maybe go up to 200, and coming to the next election, they might go up again? The question is that the people who are being included, that is the question that I would like to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah? Have a good day.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. See, something very difficult for me to understand why a government is so hostile to the people in the lower income group. And when you go back to the history of the National Democratic Congress, yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Good, man. Great, man. Good to hear you.
Relative to the issue of minimum wage that they are attempting to do now, or to increase it or make it better, as they would say, I think it's commendable. But how much sense would that make with the archaic labor laws that we have in this country? All labor laws need to be changed, need a whole set of adjustment. To my mind, that's the first thing they were supposed to address. You have to address the labor laws before you consider minimum wage. Because if the wages are on the books, as you might say, connected to the labor aspect of it, you cannot go and tell the businessmen that they have to pay the new minimum wage that they come up with. There's an argument there that says it is on the books that have to pay $5 for this, $10 for that.
Even I think for agriculture work is not $5 an hour and guarantee them 25 hours.
I'm not sure, but books.
Nobody pays that. You pay about $45 for 2 hours work.
Well, that could be the case. But what I'm saying more than anything else is that you cannot win them in a case if it continues to be on the labor laws, on the books with the labor laws. You're trying to change the minimum wage first. You have to change the labor laws first, as I'm concerned. And that's what the problem is to my mind, that they are going. But the whole idea of adjusting the minimum wage right now is absolutely necessary. Just like it is absolutely necessary to reinstate the $150, and at least, like the Prime Minister's own words, why not make it $650?
And what the NDC do there is a moral crime, you know.
Wasn't a crime?
The removal of this money is a crime. It's a shame.
It's absolutely a shame, man.
Yeah.
Take care, sir.
Yes, thank you, caller. And the removal of the $150 from the elderly is unacceptable. Congress need to give back the people the money. I do hope the Minister of Finance now give the people back the money, because that might be the beginning of the end for the National Democratic Congress. Every time they come in power, they go after the elderly, they go after the physically challenged, disadvantaged children, and the imani. You have to have some kind of blighter cost to be doing that. Because I do not see the political significance of that. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar.
Give me a little bit of education. You see that the government put in 300 new names. Is that you?
Yes, 7,100 and something names on the list, and now they have 7,300 and something names.
So, okay. When they took out the persons, the 150, they said that they did not budget for that.
I don't think that have anything to do with the 150 directly, you know. I don't know. The 150 go to the elderly. It will be generally people on the seed program. They increase the number of people.
They would have given them.
I guess different level of assistance. I don't know. But you know they're arguing that the fact that you have so much people on the list is a sign of poverty, and the government swell the list, and the government using it for political purpose, all these issues. So when they say they're going to clean the list, you expect them to reduce it.
Yeah. So that's what would worry me, and we will want to know, okay, if you put in amount of people, more 300 people more, where that funds coming from to pay them? 1, 2, how much would you be paying them? How much this 300 will be getting?
Caller, we have to ask, because this government is hiding information.
I will ask how much they get in.
Caller, you see the version of Parliament now. I know you always asking for debate. You see how they cut short the Parliament like a mini skirt now.
Well,
and they're not having press conference. And they're not coming to the press. So they're hiding information.
I was highly disappointed yesterday to know that the Parliament is for just about 2 hours to 3 hours. I mean, that's not fair to the citizens that you call Parliament.
And ministerial reports.
And
they're traveling over the world as if it's their birthday.
Something is definitely wrong.
Another thing.
No?
Yes, so we want to, as we come into this program, we want to urge the women of this country to lead in that, to concentrate on your children. You see one government come in power, and within 9 months, over 1,500 people lost their jobs. The people who are losing their job are low-income people. The government cut short the temporary programs we had on the road to give people a little blight. So you find high unemployment, and the government also cut to the upward movement in the cost of living because they raised the taxes on water and sugar and other products. So it is more difficult for the people in the lower income group. The government gave tax rebate or tax concession to the higher income group. The government take more additional money for themselves, and they fly. They win the lotto. Over $1 million has been spent already on government flying. We understand. Sometimes when they fly, they bring their boyfriend. I don't like to say boyfriend and girlfriend for big people. Their spouse. They're not showing any level of being conservative. Why they do that? They go after the elderly, peace challenge, disadvantaged children, rural women, the women of Karakou. The government unravel the confidence between the financial institutions and the people who have temporary jobs. And the government also set the so people in the private sector, it is easier for them to fire people. This is the government we have. You must look at that and think about your children in the future. When your child go to school, make certain your child get English language, mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics. Encourage your child to do Spanish and French. You could do that. You don't have to, it doesn't matter what level of education. If your child have a good voice, encourage them to join the choir in the church or in the school. That would improve their ability to sing. Let your child play a musical instrument. The majority industry, they play in job holding. If they get a chance, they play in job once a week. They could blow the shell. Encourage your 5-year-old to learn to blow the shell. That's an air instrument. If they could blow the shell, it is easier for them to blow the trumpet. So you encourage your child in music and start. Encourage your child to go to church. It's not about hell or heaven. It's about their musical skills and talents and discipline. They must have discipline to get up in the morning, go to church, be active in the choir. Put a lot of emphasis on that. Every show that comes, women, they're whining in tongue, but they're not spending time to teach children to sing or to play music. So in years to come, somebody will go on while the children making money. We have to be practical. You could hear all kind of fantastic story and people with jacket and tie speaking English better than the Queen. But you have to see the workability. You have to practicalize it. You have to see how it plays out on the ground. Tomorrow I'm back with you between 12 and 1 for another program of ONTE. Remember, we have to be tolerant to one another. Thank you very much.